and stamps, and official official, not notices, what's the word I'm looking for, forms, official forms that needed filling. And also I see some formalities around a church. So maybe that was like a burial. Now I'm trying to kind of put two and two together to see if I can if I can take all of those tiny little bits of the jigsaw to make a big piece.
Right.
And I'm thinking, was this, because I'll tell you what I'm putting together, and it might be that I'm putting two and two together and coming up with 22. But because it looks like he felt like he already lost it all, like the time of death was a release for him, and that a lot of communication was needed around his burial or around the church, could it be a suicide situation? Do you understand why I think that? Because I think, um, I know in Jewish, burials around suicides are very, very complicated. So I think a lot of things are probably the same. Um, so I don't know if there was a suicide or if he wanted to no longer be alive. Again, sort of trying to put two and two together. If he felt like he had lost it all and was kind of running away from potentially a lifetime of incarceration, could it be that he had caused accidental death in his past, or if he was being chased for a crime that he didn't commit? So I don't know. I feel like I've got sort of more question marks than exclamation marks.
Right.
But these are all the little bits and bobs that I've got around him. So that's my
Yeah, well,
offering.
that actually, and I want to say so bad, and I'll say it at the end, but once I say this one thing that I said on the last show, everybody's going to be like, ah, that
Ah,
makes sense. So yes, but thank you so much, and I'll put you
thank you.
backstage if you want to stick around because I know it's late. But if you want to hear what I got to say, you can replay it or stick around, right?
I am absolutely
Because
bursting with curiosity. I'm not going anywhere.
yeah, oh, because once I say this, you're gonna be like, that makes sense. So yeah, so thank you very much. Stay
Thank you
stay
so
stay tuned.
much. Thank
Yes, ma'am.
you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we've got hello there, stranger.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Martin. How are
Nice
you doing?
to meet you. I'm good. This was my first time. I just got to meet Grizzly the other night on Tuesday. So looking forward to trying my hand at doing this today. Um, the first thing I get was I don't know if he was desperate for money and involved with some not so great people. I'm not sure if there was some drug um, selling or some of that kind of going on, but I don't feel that the money exchange was effective, and the people that did kill him, um, they just don't take kindly to that. So I feel there was a lot of problems. He has emotional problems. He was desperately in a state of anxiety to such a degree that he kind of knew he was in a bad way. So I don't know if he got the money for the deal and then he blew it or spent it on something else and didn't give it to the people that they owed. I feel they gave him a little bit of time to kind of work with it, but ultimately, I just don't think he had it at the end of the day. And these are not people that you cross or you put in any position that's an uncomfortable dynamic. And I also feel they're pretty high up in the chain, so I don't know that they're going to find out a whole lot about who was totally involved with this because basically, um, the people that did kill him or take care of him were basically the middle people and not really the top people. But I also feel he knew what he was doing. He just didn't think he would get caught or it would get this bad. And I feel so much anxiety with him, and I just feel his life was kind of a mess for a while, and he had a lot of secrets and didn't tell a lot of people a lot of things, and so it's kind of like he wants to apologize to his family because I just feel it's not really the way he would have wanted it to be known. But I just feel so many secrets that he couldn't tell too many people because if he did, he was dead, and if he didn't, he was dead. So he
Right.
kind of he kind of created his own life ending in so many different formats, and it really started out with this desperateness for financial situation, or thinking he was going to make some money and get out of where he was stuck. So but
Wow. Okay.
that's everything I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. Now, once again, like I told Envil, once I say what I'm gonna say after I get done with a few more, you're all gonna be like, "That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
It adds up." Because I want to say it so bad because everybody's hitting on something, and you know how you want to say it, but you can't say it because you still got a few more people to go through. So yeah, so hang tight. Thank you so much, and I'll be right back with you. Okay. Next up, we got Lala. Lala, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I muted myself. Sorry. Hi.
That's okay.
I'm good, thank you.
All
So
right.
this was weird. I was very back and forth with my feelings on this psychically, I guess. First of all, I got really angry. I felt like I had an attitude. So I feel like he kind of felt above the law. I feel like he's been in trouble with the law before. Um I feel he angered a group of people. I feel he's from somewhere in the South or below Maryland,
Right.
Um, and then the word Machiavelli showed up, and I Googled it, and it means, I believe it means faking death. So maybe he wanted to try that. Maybe it didn't work. I know my whole body got really my legs got really hot and tingly and it went to my fingers. I didn't know what was going on and it was really uncomfortable. And I didn't understand what that was, but it scared me. So maybe he was trying to get away with something and it backfired somehow. Um I just feel like he dabbled in things that he shouldn't have and it backfired. And I don't exactly he there's part of me that feels he's still alive and part of me feels that he's dead. I've never really experienced that before, so I don't know what that means exactly. It was weird. Sorry.
Yeah. So I know sometimes when psychics or mediums get that feeling, from my experience dealing with a lot of them, it's like the person doesn't really know that they are or do not. They're kind of confused, but
Right.
that's just something to toss out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's what
But
I got. It was confusing.
yeah, it is. And once I explain, like I said, what I want to say so bad, but I have to wait because I still got a few more coming. And once I say what I'm going to say, you're all going to be like, "Oh, you got to be really," because I mentioned it on the first show
Okay.
when I was covering the case, and I was like, take that with a grain of salt, because, and I'm going to stop because I'm going to say it, but hang tight, and I'm going to go to Craig. Thank you,
Thank
Lala.
you.
I appreciate it. All
Thank you.
right, stand by. All right, Craig. Come on
Hey,
in, sir. Welcome to the show. How are you
how are
doing?
you? So, thing, this, I hate to say it, but one, he had a brutal upbringing, um, mentally unstable, uh, but there was also suicidal, but there are two people there. he was also really mean, I believe. I think he kind of made his bed. Yeah, I think, I'm not going to say a deal gone wrong, but definitely a dispute took place. How he died, I do feel stomach area. I keep getting he got what was coming. He made his bed. He made those choices, and I don't think he was really kind about those choices he made. Yeah, that's really what I got here. You know, I think there was involvement with police prior. I think if not done time, he got off on it, but he should have done time. I live in Canada, so everything is south to me. So it is
Right,
south.
right.
I almost want to say immigrant, like he came from somewhere else young, but saw way more than he should have ever had as a child. But I might be off on that. Again, this is just what I've picked up. But I do get mental illness. I do get suicidal. I do get a confrontation. I get maybe law enforcement don't necessarily care that issue's dealt with. They wouldn't want to. They have more to gain by not doing anything than they do doing something about it.
Right.
And I, of course, feel sorry for the families and what they're going through. But I think he's also happy that it was over. The anxiety, the secrets, everything. It's almost double life. So yeah, that's what I picked up, and it would be interesting to hear what the other side.
Yeah, I want to put everything's going to come together at the end. So, and I want to tell you exactly what I thought when I first took the case on. So stand by. Thank you, sir. And Angela, come on. All right, Angela, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do and how you do things.
I'm Angela Bowling. I am a psychic portrait artist. I see spirits and I paint portraits and also the images that they send to me. I hear and see spirits. And basically I do paranormal investigations. There's quite a few different things that I do. I do a lot of energy work, that means for remote viewing. There's quite a bit of stuff I do psychically. So with this one, now the first impression I got, I was like there was some complexity with this, that there were at least 3 men involved. And I don't normally resort to an S box, but I was on another show, and this person, who I believe is our victim, came through and was talking to me. He mentioned the name.
Wow.
He mentioned the name Dwight involved in this. He also gave me the White surname, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here.
Yeah.
He said Bigsby.
Hmm.
He gave 2 names. He also said there was a third man. So what I was saying out to him, what I was seeing, I kept seeing that he was at a gas station, and there were We had 3 men in a car. 2 of them he recognized, and it was an Audi that pulled up. The 2 in the front he recognized. The one in the back he didn't recognize. Was a white man he did not recognize. I also kept being shown a woman involved in this some way, and I kept seeing a ring, a very small ring, like an engagement ring or just a ring that she carried around that is some memento of hers, that she was somehow involved with these men, and she was like this go-between, this communication between these men and him. And I kept getting a lot of paranoia with him. Like paranoia, like I'm constantly on the run from these people. I'm constantly being chased. I'm constantly trying to hide things. And then I went an unusual route because I don't usually do runes. I do rune readings, but I usually haven't done a rune reading for something like this. Just because I seen there was 3 men involved. Third one he didn't recognize, and he said some crazy white guy in the back of the car is what he said when he came through a spirit box. There was some crazy white guy in the car. I don't know who he is. In the back, sitting in the back of the Audi. And I get the sense that this was some sort of leader involved with him. And he kept saying conference, but I kept getting a sense of a conference of this was something that was planned, that there was something that he was a part of. I kept seeing money involved, that there was money being exchanged, and it had something to do with retribution and how he handled those funds. And so when I went ahead and tried a rune ring just to see what I would get. So the first one I got was Isa. So Isa is the rune of ice, but it also can mean paralyzing, being stuck. So I felt like he was stuck in a position and he could not get out of it. Like, I'm in this tight spot. There's no way out. Whatever the ending's going to be, it's not going to be a good one, whatever it is, because of these men that are involved, and this woman in particular. This woman who I feel like was being deceitful. She would act nice to him, but was acting kind of like an informant in a way, and also a way to manipulate him. So he was not, and I kept getting the word exploitation. He was exploited. So there was something in his past that was being exploited and being used by this group. And the female was key to this, and she was key to the manipulation, to the exploitation. And I keep seeing this little ring with her, like she was like the main manipulator. And I kept seeing, so Feyu was the next rune I saw, and that's money, that's mobile wealth, that's money and transactions. And then I see Helgelas. So Helgelas is the rune of destruction. It is the hailstone. It's out of season. It's out of time. So when I put this up, I kept seeing like everything. He had these plans. He had complex plans how he might get out of the situation, but every time it would fall apart. Something would fall through. Something would not work, and all of his plans just collapsed. Like, he'd try one thing and it would not work. He'd try something else, it wouldn't work. He kept getting cut off. There was no way out. The other one I picked up, because I was led to pick up 2 more. So strength, Urus, the rune of strength. I got that at one time he may have been a strong person and had some inner strength, but at this point he was so paranoid, defeated. I just get a sense of fear, like he had the potential to escape. He had the potential to use that strength to escape, but he just didn't. And I felt something about his death. So what I felt with his death, I felt like I can't breathe, but it feels low in my body. And then I picked like almost like my diaphragm is being like I can't take a breath. Either I'm cut there and I can't take a breath, or I'm squeezed there or in such a way that I cannot take a breath. But what I brought, the very last rune I asked about is death, and this is Thorasos. So Thorasos would be like a sharp pain, sharp knife, symbolism here, that this usually represents the thorn. But I'm getting it really low. I'm just feeling pain like really low down my middle, and I can't breathe. I just get a sense that wherever he was injured, it was low, and he was cut off from being able to breathe. Not in the neck, but low on the body, near where you would use to breathe.
Right.
That's all, and I'm getting. And when I said, there's family that want closure for you, and he said, I'm sorry. That's what
Wow.
he said. He had his voice come through very clearly. He said, "I'm sorry," and and again he kept giving me images. So at the time that he was talking through the spirit box, he was showing me these images, particularly this female. Um, that was kind of used. I want to say almost like bait in a way to kind of draw him into this. And
Yeah.
I don't think that. I mean, she is connected. She knows what she's doing, and she knows she's a part of this. But I think when law enforcement zeroes in, they're not going to zero in on her. They're going to zero in on the males and exclude her. But she is a big part of this. This female. I keep seeing a blonde lady involved in this.
Okay. Interesting. Somebody asked for me to show the picture, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I threw the picture back up there.
We
That's
definitely
Clifford Lamont right there. So that is the person we're actually doing the readings and talking about right now. So yes. So that is him. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. We have Kelly Joe coming on. Kelly, welcome to the show there. Come on down. How are you doing, Kelly?
Good. How are you doing? Before
Wonderful.
you ever sent the picture, a huge man of color came walking down my hallway, and he was like 6'5", huge, and he had bald head except for a little patch of hair here, and on the side he had a triple X with a razor. You know how they cut hair with the razor?
Yes.
3 X's on top of each other. Then I hear snitches get stitches. And they said he tried to keep the money, but we got him. Then another guy shows up. He was all in tattoos. I think he was a white guy. He had a mohawk, yellow and orange tip, and he had diamonds all over his neck and 3 script yolks underneath his collarbone of Spanish writing, and then tattoos all over his face. They had like 3 teardrops here. And then there was another guy of color, and he had a grill, and he had those brass knuckles.
Yeah.
And they stabbed him and they beat him up and with the brass knuckles. So he was stabbed all over. And he tried to keep and then the lady is the head cartel lady with these guys. So it's like a giant drug ring, well-established old ring that covers all over. So he was trying to keep the money and he got caught. And that's why they killed him. Snitches get stitches.
Okay. So we have another psychic that reached out to me today, and she was having a lot of problems because she was saying, and I'm not going to get graphic, she was saying she kept seeing him get bodily harm and injured. And she was describing what you were telling me. And she's like, that's the only thing I'm seeing. She says, and I'm not seeing before or after. I'm just seeing what is happening to him.
Right.
And she says, Grizzly, usually I see what leads up to it and what happens after, but I'm just seeing what is being done to him. And that's it. And it's just constantly replaying. So that gives her, if she's watching, it gives you validation. Because, and I told her, I'm like, well, if that's what you're seeing, then that's what I would report. She's like, but I want to give more. I don't want to. I was like, well, that's what you're seeing. Then that's what I would say. And, but once again, that's validation because that is what she saw. So that makes a lot of sense. So now
it was the grizzly death because he was he was stabbed, like the other lady said, lower abdomen all over, and then the pounding all over his face and head and bludgeon, just totally. He was a bloody mess.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. So I'm going to bring everybody back on. Kat, Martin, La, and Inball. And let's see here. There we go. Angela and Craig. So one of the things that we talked about during the first show is they reported on the newspaper article, somebody commented, because on digital, when they report on an article, you can comment down at the bottom, leave comments, right? And somebody reported, now I just saw him last week at a casino. He was gambling. So, and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, if you see that comment, take with a grain of salt, because, it could be mistaken identity, right?
Right.
But,
Absolutely.
the way I look at it, when I first looked at the case, before I even took it on, I presume that he did something wrong. And he was like, I have nothing to lose. And he went to told his family, I'm out of here. I'll be back. And he knew he wasn't going to come back. And he took the money that he allegedly had, whatever maybe did take, right? Allegedly, whatever, and probably see if he can recover some or some of it or whatnot, if that was him at the casino. But somebody said that they saw him at the casino. So does that validate with any of you all now? Does that resonate with any of you all now when it comes to financial and
Theyu, the rune of money. That's the rune of mobile wealth. That's you carrying out, and you could because it's basically the runes are the base of the Viking system of the alphabet. But particularly for mobile wealth for them, it was wealth that you carried around. You'd had in silver rings, and you would just cut off a piece of silver if you didn't have coins with you, and you could gamble. You could gamble a lot. So that makes total sense with the mobile wealth and with Theyu coming up with money, like putting money down on the table. I'm putting this out there.
But if he had nothing to lose, then why not go to the casino and be like, hey,
go all out.
Yes.
I don't think he was mentally calm enough to make those sort of decisions. He seemed to be fight and flight, just getting on with whatever he could with whatever he had at the time. He seemed to be super fight and flight.
Yeah, but there was something that was in his past that, to me, caught up to him, and and I feel sorry for his family and his friends, because when family and friends and people reach out to me to take on cases, and I always tell them, if there are any skeletons in the closets or any secrets, now is the time I need to know if we're going to do the case. And they're like, why? I said, it's going to come out, and I'd rather know now before we do a show, because, whatever they say on the panel is going to come out, and I don't stop them. So, and it is what it is. So, but it was weird that they found the body Saturday, or was it Saturday? I think the newspaper said, yeah, I think it was, right. I think it's what I read, because they released it today.
Do you think that was him in the car?
Yes, they did a DNA test.
And what, they tested it from his clothing or his actual body?
Yeah, so I'm alleging they did touch DNA. So swab DNA or something, yes.
Did they say cause of death?
No, they did not, but they did rule it as a homicide. So, but they're not releasing the information at this point. So,
has he ever been in trouble before with the law?
That where I was said in the beginning of the show for everybody come on, all of his information was very stringent. It was not out there like my other cases where you can go out there and I pull up all kinds of information, arrest records, It was very like sealed. So
That's weird.
well, I shouldn't say sealed. It was very, it was just non-existent is what I should say. You know,
Weird.
usually you go out there and you can say Bob Smith or John Doe has been arrested 37 times, 4 DUIs, and you know, I mean, you know, it's just out there. But you know, the lack of media coverage, I mean, I live, you know, not a very big county, right? You know, not a very big town. I guess, well, define big, I guess, but you know, something like this would make the news for days.
Yeah.
And you know, especially finding a body in a burnt vehicle. But it was just a newspaper article. You know, and then when he went missing, you know, they was just like, yeah, a 49-year-old Beaver man from South Carolina went missing, and the family don't know where he went to, and that was it. If you have any information, call the sheriff's department. So, and it's just like, yeah, so it didn't make any, it's just the lack of information wasn't there. So, yeah. So
maybe he had a new identity.
You know, and that's one thing that I will not be able to know until we get more information of whatever the police department or the sheriff's office wants to release. You know, maybe he was not an American citizen, and maybe he became an American citizen, and maybe that's where you're getting your information. So, you know, I don't know. So,
and also, do you think it was post-mortem where all his injuries were post-mortem? Like he passed over a certain way and then was...
No, because the other psychic said the same thing with Kelly and a couple of you all as well, too. So, no.
I think going after some bigger fish. I think they know what he's involved in, and I don't think they want anybody to know about it until it's time.
Yeah.
I hope they can see their investigation on the female and actually, because this woman seems to be really...
Well, it's a big syndicate of drugs.
Yeah.
But I wanted to...
The whole group goes down.
Yeah, well, you know how it is, and sometimes it takes a while. But I wanted to thank everybody for coming on the show. Thank you very much, and probably in 2 or 3 weeks we'll have another case, and I'll keep y'all posted. So y'all have a good night, and thank you all, and Godspeed, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Bye,
good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not Chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. Shh. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!